Hey, hi, team.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for
Hello.
joining me. We're meeting today very briefly for an analysis meeting. We're going to go over our third grade STAR results from last year. And it's coming up again, so we're just going to break this down and analyze it. First, I'm going to read you all the data. So, last school year, 2022, we had a 57% campus passing rate in third grade math. But of that 57%, 40% of them were African American. I'm sorry. They approached the grade level. So that's who failed. I'm sorry. So they were there, but not quite. So they approached. So 57%. The ones who did pass, who did meet grade level expectations or above, it was only 30%. So only 30% of the students met the state's expectations. And the ones who mastered the STAR was 15%. So we only had 15% of the students on campus master. So, and I think, I need to check my numbers, but it's 333 third graders, I think. Something like that. I'm sorry, that's the whole campus, 333 with 57 third graders. Okay? And all those third graders are being taught by our one math teacher, so they see them all. Today we're going to focus on how to close that gap, on how to get more students to pass, especially our African Americans, because if you look at it by demographics, 0% of the students who mastered were African American. It was all Hispanic who mastered. So we want to work on getting those numbers up. So what's something that's going on in the classroom that you notice that could be causing this gap?
Well, one thing I noticed as the second grade teacher is that our math curriculum has changed quite a bit. We went from just using the teeth to also having to incorporate Montessori math to also incorporating Eureka math. So I just think there's far too many programs out there for us to go in and actually master one in particular. Also, typically in a bilingual classroom, those teachers have more of an opportunity to plan because those classrooms are a little bit smaller. Whereas in a general classroom where the languages are not mixed, we have a lot of students that are coming in and out, and that's something that I really dealt with this year. So it's really hard to kind of see where the student is, especially if they might have come from a background where they were not Montessori or a school where they were not using Eureka math. So I think that really stands when we look at the data as to when we get to third grade. And I also think that our third grade instructor would kind of say the same thing. Is there a big jump between Montessori and math in a traditional classroom?
There is a jump, but I feel like the downfall I have, Hank lost in third grade math. I hadn't been properly trained in Eureka. I mean, how can you expect me to try to, educate these children? I haven't educated myself.
That makes sense. So we have a misalignment in curriculum and a misalignment in training of the curriculum. First grade, have you noticed anything?
Yes, I've noticed the lack of support from administration and also the lack of training. We need more training.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. I've seen that. In fourth grade, do you agree with what other teachers are stating?
Yes, I agree. And also parent support too.
Mm-hmm. So we have a misalignment in curriculum. Yeah, go ahead.
I also wanted to add that is actually that group of students who switched between English and Spanish classes.
Okay.
That particular year. So they had math and English, and they had math with a bilingual teacher, and then they had English with a bilingual teacher. And then they had ELA with a general ed teacher. That was a lot of mixing.
I'm confused when you say that. I know the kids are confused.
Exactly, right. Exactly. There's too much going on, and we just need to find one. Stick to the basics. We need to start keeping things simple. Maybe if we just go back to doing things simple, the numbers will go up. So I say we just discuss what curriculum should be used overall. We need to stop switching between, are we going to do Eureka? Are we going to do TEKS? Is Eureka even lined up with the TEKS? Does Eureka match the TEKS scope and sequence in the IFDs? You know, are we teaching the same things at the same time? I don't see that it does. I think that Eureka sometimes is much further ahead than what Eureka shows, and things that Eureka wants us to teach the kids haven't had the background knowledge.
That is a perfect way to say it.
Okay.
I agree with you. If we broke it down further, all those things are factors and where the shortcoming is happening. Once we pick a curriculum, cool. Let's educate us on how to do it.
Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
it's hard for me to get a child from second grade when they were failed in second grade and they're also failed in first grade because of improper
Training. The teachers don't have training to teach or to know what they're supposed to be doing. We're handed whatever and say, go do it, and then nothing else after that.
And
There's
we're-
no follow-up training.
exactly.
There's no support.
Or no follow-up at all. And follow-up is like critical, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're analyzing data, because I mean, what's the point? Yeah.
And the resources, they need to give us the resources for Eureka.
Absolutely.
If it's asking for manipulatives, we should have those
Mhm.
materials in our classroom to use with Eureka.
Absolutely. You have something else to add? No?
Yes, and when we start a program, if we're going to say that we're going to do this program with fidelity, then let's do it with fidelity. Let's not wait till mid-year to say maybe this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that happened, which is why the STAR scores look the way that
Mm-hmm.
they do for third grade. And that puts a greater responsibility on third grade teachers to close in the gaps that maybe we couldn't in second because first couldn't close in the gaps that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time they get with Mrs. Newton in fourth, she might be having to teach first grade too because we weren't properly trained on what we needed for that grade level.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, third grade, since teaching Eureka and looking at benchmark scores where your students have had to take a test every 6 weeks to see how they're growing, have you seen any growth or is there a regression?
I wouldn't say regression. We definitely are feeling stagnant. I have some small victories that I take pride in, or they're kind of that Eureka moment where they grasp it. You know what I'm saying? But then at times they go home and they're distracted. Just unbalanced social life, come to school, have to get them in order. We're our teachers. We know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
So looking at the benchmark, I'm not seeing the results I love to see.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I see the results that correlate with the effort I put into it.
Absolutely.
And that's frustrating.
I agree. Do you think with STAR coming so soon and where your students are at this level, do you think more than, 30% of your students will be at a meets the grade level?
I would like to hope so.
Yeah.
That's my goal is to educate and then numbers raise.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to give them to understand it so they can be prepared for the next grade level.
At the end of the day, you're there for them to understand math and not what's on the test. I feel you on that one.
Exactly.
Well,
It's not-
Mr. Lawson, he celebrates small victories,
Yeah. As we all should.
as we all should. Allow our students to feel successful in the small things. How can we expect them to take a STAR test seriously and get to the level where we expect them to be?
Absolutely. I think going forward, I'll meet with the district and campus administrator on what curriculum, just one, we should implement on math and stick with it. We need to make sure it's research-based and it matches what the state expects of us because we are in Texas and we have to do what the state says. So although there's all these programs that are miracle workers and magical, if it doesn't match what TEA says, then we're not holding up to our job duties and responsibilities. So, and then we also have to keep in mind that this year also STAR will be all computer based. So we don't know what we're gonna get anyway. So, any other questions, suggestions, ideas?
I think that maybe if we can increase attendance,
Okay.
that would help as well.
Okay. Any incentives for that? Do you have anybody?
I think it'll be really awesome to have every 6 weeks a perfect attendance drawing or popsicles or an extra recess or even just their names being called over the announcements to feel special.
Recognition is important.
Absolutely.
And we don't even have to do every 2 weeks. We can make a very small goal and say 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Especially for those children who may not get the recognition academically.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? To show that they can do something. I can come to school, I get recognized for that.
Mhm.
And they're more motivated to hear their name more often.
Mhm.
You know? If I feel like I'm doing the best I can, but I'm never recognized,
Mhm.
why am I even trying?
That's good. Well, I think you're all doing a great job. I think we came up with some great ideas today that we can move forward on. So I appreciate you for joining my team, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Michelle.
Lawson for Teacher of the Year.